Here's Steph Curry. He's on the perimeter, and as he starts running without the ball, he catches his defender sleeping a bit. Then with one dribble and an around the back move, he puts on a little magic show, splits the double team, gets the bench on their feet, and gets the bucket. Here he is again, sprinting down the court at full speed. Then as he catches the ball, he takes one dribble, stops on a dime, and the end result is splash. The Rockets assistant coach clearly isn't happy with what he's seen. Here's Steph yet again. This time he's being guarded by Eric Gordon. The veteran Rockets guard does a good job at keeping number 30 in front of him, played almost perfect defense, but at the 11th hour, he left just a little too much space in between them, and splash. Look at this Rockets coach again, by the way. He couldn't believe what he just saw. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a man who's 34, turning 35 this season, but yet he's having arguably his best season ever, and even has young NBA stars saying this about him.
The toughest player to guard in the NBA.
Steph.
In a league that's dominated by height and athleticism, how in the world is 6'3" Stephen Curry still so difficult to guard in his 14th season? Well, let's get right into it. The 50-40-90 club is the gold standard in the NBA when it comes to efficiency because it means you're a flat-out baller. Then when you combine that with big production numbers like, say 30 points per game, for example, it means you're one bad motherfucker. This season, Steph Curry isn't just dropping 50 points a game like it ain't no thing. He's doing it efficiently en route to his second 50-40-90 club season, and he's doing it emphatically with style points. I mean, look at his statistics. 53% from the field, 45% from three-point range, and 90% at the line, while averaging not just 32 points per game, but 7 assists and nearly 7 rebounds a game. Say it with me, guys. 1, 2, 3. Sheesh. Anyways, Marcus Smart, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, said this of the 34-year-old.
You know, the way that he's able to affect the game by able to run around and play off the ball and get himself open. And it's just tough on a defender because you can't take a break. You know, the instance you think that he's not doing anything, the play is over for him. And that's when you get beaten, that's when you get burnt. And, he can affect the game at all levels, passing, playmaking, shooting the ball, scoring the ball. So he got the whole package, and you have to be able to guard every last thing he has. And not many players can do that,
And with that being said, let's take a closer look at everything Marcus Smart just said, but in actual game settings. And we'll start off with, you guessed it, his ability to shoot three-point shots with such accuracy, from such a distance, with such a quick release. Here's Curry, right here. He's literally standing by the Chase logo, about 6 feet out from the three-point line, and in a fraction of a second, he's already rising up for his shot, and before his defender knew what was going on, the ball was already in the air and in the basket. Accuracy, distance, and speed. Here's another quick example with Steph running in transition. His defender overruns the play when Steph went between the legs with the same hand. Then, before he knew what was going on, it's the same story all over again. Splash, splash, butter, baby. Anyways, let's look to see what happens when a defender plays him a bit closer and takes away his three. Here's Steph being guarded by one of the Defensive Players of the Year finalists from last season, Mikal Bridges. They're both way out of the perimeter, but when Bridges tries to move in to play him closer, Steph's quick enough to get past him, and he's also crafty enough to finish in traffic like he does in this play. Okay. So let's do a quick recap here. If you give him too much space, he'll shoot it right over you from basically anywhere on the court. And if you give him too little space, he'll just whiz right by you and finish at the rim. So, as the opposing coach, what do you do now? Maybe you'll put a quicker defender that could keep up with him. Well, let's take a look at what happens in these situations. Here's Davion Mitchell guarding Steph at half court. Now, Mitchell here is a bit smaller than Steph, standing at just 6 feet. He's also a lot younger and more athletic. He was the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year in college, and in the NBA, he's one of the quicker and stronger defensive guards. Steph realizes that he'll have a tough time if he tries to outmaneuver him with his handles. So, what does he do? Well, it's quite simple. He just uses the Draymond screen to easily get rid of him. Then when the taller center gets switched onto him, it's the same story all over again. Accuracy, distance, speed, splash. Sheesh, guys. It's no wonder why Ja Morant said Steph is the hardest player to guard, because honestly, this is what it's like guarding him. Anyway, just before we get a bit more into what makes Steph Curry so difficult to guard at age 34, let's hear from Michael Porter Jr. on why his preparation is key. You see, the two of them worked out together a number of times over the offseason, and here's what the Nuggets rising star had to say about the two-time MVP.
I think that the defining characteristic with Steph is his pace. The way he works out in the drills he does is all about getting him as tired as possible so he can shoot while he's tired. So he does drills that some people do in the half court, like the star drill, where you run from the top to the corner to the wing to then the other wing to then the other corner. But he'll do that. But he'll do that full court, and he'll do it 2 times through, and he has to make he has to make 9 out of 10, but he's doing it the full length of the court.
Sheesh, guys. No wonder why Steph has the energy to do things like this on the court. Here he is in the corner shooting a 3. There's just under 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter in a tight game against the Heat. Everyone is exhausted. The shot doesn't go in, but the exhaustion causes his defender to mentally slip a bit. He was probably hoping that his own team would grab the defensive rebound, but unfortunately, that didn't happen. Steph, on the other hand, thanks to those drills he does, is still fresh, moves quickly without the ball, and gets so open. I mean, by the time he catches the ball, his defender, another Defensive Player of the Year finalist, Bam Adebayo, isn't even within 10 feet of him. And for the two-time MVP, it's just another day, another dollar. Moving on here, something I've noticed more and more from Steph this season is that he's mixing in his mid-range shots too. It's just another way to keep defenders on their heels and keep himself unpredictable. But look, after he beats his initial defender and gets him jumping in the air, he even fades away to get a shot off against the outstretched arms of the secondary defender. Here's another one. Against Lonnie Walker of the Lakers, Curry actually borrows the dream shake from Hakeem Olajuwon, gets his defender going in the opposite direction, and hits the mid-range. Oh my goodness. Anyways, let me tell you something you might not know. This mid-range shot is something he definitely worked on and added to his game recently, and it's another example of how a great champion like him is getting even better. Because look, in his unanimous season back in 2016, he was only shooting 42.5% from the mid-range. Then last year, when the Warriors won the championship, his mid-range percentage was at 44. But this season, look at this. He's currently an outstanding 60%. No wonder why he's so difficult to guard at age 34. He's still improving his toolbox, and now, to be honest, his offensive game looks completely polished. I mean, he has everything. If you guard him one-on-one, he'll find a way to get an open shot. If you double-team him, it's now a 4-on-3 situation where the defense is on their heels, and we all know how that turns out. Then, what makes him still so difficult to guard is the fact that on any given night, there could be another Warrior even hotter than he is. I'm talking about Klay Thompson. I mean, despite Charles Barkley saying that he's washed, the truth is, Klay's still more than capable of dropping 40 points a game, and here's actually what Andre Iguodala said of the other Splash Brother.
He's a generational talent as well. I'm really, really excited for him. He missed the game the last 2 years. But in terms of shooting, the only thing about Klay is he'll get bored after the shooting contest, he'll get bored. So people was like, who's a better shooter, Steph or Klay? And I was like, it depends on if Klay wants to go play with his dog or not.
You know what, guys? I don't think any play defines the deadliness of the Splash Brothers more than this one here, which took place last year in the finals. Anyways, here's Steph in transition, and this is game 4, so he's on fire. Remember? The two Celtics superstars, Tatum and Brown, want to contain Curry, so they both go at him, but in doing so, the other Splash Brother was completely open, and sheesh, guys, look at that. Despite the outstretched arms of Robert Williams, Klay caught it, and within a fraction of a second, it left his hand to give the Warriors the lead. By a long mile, Curry's still the best player in the league, and although I love Max Kellerman, whenever Steph hits big shots like the one against the Rockets, this phrase always pops in my head.
fate of the universe on the line, or the Martians have the death beam pointed at Earth, you better hit it. I want Iguodala.